Iron buster is good when the water is clear or slightly yellowish. But if the color is already out, that means the water is fully oxidized with air, then all you need is a removal filter. So AFM filter is the perfect. Sand filter, if budget doesn't allow, it's also okay. It does a good enough job. And then you could have... Hi guys. So in this video, I'm going to discuss a question that's being asked to us about the configuration of iron filters. So if your water has iron, you must know how to place your iron filter. So if this is your iron filter, okay, and you have water source that comes into your filter and then goes out from here. You have to know the quality of water that comes from your well, okay? Now, this is, we have an iron filter called iron buster. So that's the one. And what iron buster does is it has a catalytic media inside that when water comes in here, say it's clear water from the well, okay? The water is clear from the well, and what happens is when it passes through here, first the water which is clear becomes brown because the iron comes out of the water, and then it gets lodged somewhere here. So it also acts like a filter at the same time. First, it acts like a catalytic media, so there's a reaction, and then after that it becomes a filter, okay? And then what comes out of it is also clear, okay? Now suppose this water was yellowish. So that means there has been a bit of oxidation, or there has been a reaction prior to the water entering our filter. Okay, so there might be a tank somewhere here that the water was stored over there, and then the water turns yellow, okay? That's due to air being introduced into the water, okay, here. Now, if your water is yellowish, same thing happens again. The water goes into your filter, the iron comes out even more, and then it gets filtered again, and then the water which comes out is clear. Now, suppose the water has a metallic taste, okay? Because iron usually has metallic taste. So if that's the case in your water down the stream or in your house, then what you want to do is you want to add a filter called a carbon filter. Okay, so this one would be your carbon. For those who don't know what's carbon, it's activated charcoal or activated carbon. That is the filter you want to put because that's very good at removing odors, and it's also good at improving the taste of the water. This is used for clearing the taste. Now, you would not want to put carbon prior to the iron filter. Iron filter is your first filter. So this is the configuration that I want to discuss. You don't want to put carbon prior to the iron buster, and the reason being that is because carbon is not meant for filtration. It is as a biofilter, but since we're not using it as a biofilter, it has a certain job to do. So the first thing we want to do is remove iron. After removing iron, we can take care of the symptoms of when there was iron in the water, so the metallic taste and all of that. Sometimes it don't go away even if the iron has gone out of the water. So in those cases, you would need a carbon filter. But suppose the water is still brown, okay? So that means this reaction happened here. So that means it might have been that the flow was too high, okay? So the reaction part happened, but then remember when the water goes in here, it first has to react. So the color of iron or rusty color is brown, right? So let's say once you open the faucet down the line, the water was brown. So that means the reaction happened, but there was no filtration, okay? In that case, you want to change the carbon into either a sand filter or AFM. Okay, AFM is a specialized glass media that is meant for removing, or that is used for removing iron from the water. Okay, or you could use sand if budget is a restriction. Okay, so you could use this. So what happens is this one is purely for catalytic reaction, while this one becomes your filter. Okay, so that's it. And then if you still have the metallic taste or smell, then you add the carbon filter here. Okay, so this is how you configure your filters. Catalytic, you cause the reaction to happen, and then you have the sand, and then you have the carbon. Now suppose your water was already brownish or rusty in color. So if that's the case, then you can actually do away with this filter completely. So you could remove the Iron Buster filter, because Iron Buster is good when the water is clear or slightly yellowish. But if the color is already out, that means the water is fully oxidized with air, then all you need is a removal filter. So AFM filter is the perfect. Sand filter, if budget doesn't allow, it's also okay. It does a good enough job. And then you could have a carbon filter. Okay, and if you want to be really, really sure that you want crystal clear water all the times, then you could go for a 3-stage filter here. 3-stage or even 2-stage or 1-stage, as long as these filters are sediment filters. Okay, so that's it. I hope I answered your questions. If you have any other question, please do let us know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.